Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Auron new video, and today we are taking on the newest mission quest stages. Now I know I'm like really late getting these out. I did like record these on my phone when they came out, but it's just been crazy busy. We're getting pretty close to my moving date. We spent all weekend kind of working on moving stuff. So now I'm like kind of backlogging and trying to like get some of these videos out. So this video is going to come out like way later. Like I think the third mission quest stage will probably be out by the time you see this one. I'm just going to kind of unload these, like spread them out. Just make sure you guys have something to watch on my channel, you know, in between while we're waiting for new banners and all that. But yeah, so this is the first stage. And this one required 2 heavy swords, and then you could use whatever you want. So this second batch I think is a lot less restrictive, because the other ones wanted what was it, like 3 of a certain crystal color. This one's only requiring 2 of a certain weapon type, which is really nice, because you get that third slot where you can put wherever you want. So I decided to do something kind of off turn here with Core and Auron, and just kind of have some fun with that. We're going to bring in Aerith here to do some echo shenanigans. Just kind of ramp and do all that. So not echo shenanigans here. We're just using her to ramp because I don't think I have a force charger. So just something to kind of get me up to speed, right? So this is the thing, like with the first mission quest, I thought the lockout was almost pointless because they were requiring like 3 of a certain thing, and or maybe it was weapon type on the first one too. I don't remember. It's actually already forgetting, but they required 3 of something, right? And they weren't ever requiring the same thing multiple times. So it's like, what's the point of lockout if you don't even have an opportunity to use that character twice, right? This at least makes a little bit more sense because you're going to have that third slot where you can put whatever you want in there. And in that case, the lockout actually matters. So here now I have to say, okay, I'm not going to use Core anywhere else. But Core is a character they could do another one where it requires like a unique weapon, right? And then maybe it's like, oh, I really wish I had Core for that unique weapon. I would maybe have to go back and re-get him here, right? So, but if it was just like, yeah, 3 heavy sword, well, they wouldn't require 3 heavy swords on another mission. So then it's like, okay, what's the point of lockout? So I'm glad they left one slot open. One, because it makes it a little bit easier, and it makes you think about the lockout. Because before, that whole Mission Quest 1 set, the lockout didn't even matter. Because, once again, they required 3 of different things for every time, so you couldn't even repeat the same characters. So here we go. We are going into an Auron, we're just using his force attack here. Or his BT, sorry, my bad, his BT, not his force attack. Yeah, this is the BT here. Because we want to start soaring, right? We want to get that soar going. My boy, Sauron, I guess we'd call him, because he likes to soar. So we got 6 turns on that. I actually don't even think I end up using soar in this fight. I think sometimes I just forget about it, to be honest. I did this fight like, you know, like a week ago or whenever it dropped. It feels like it's been forever. So, you know, I just remember these enemies just did a lot of like physical attacks. But, you know, with all the tanking I got going on here, and we did bring Sephiroth, which I'll admit Sephiroth is kind of anti-synergy for this team because I am taking like an off-turn approach. So my thought here is to use Auron's FR, let the enemies be aggressive, and then we just get off-turn ticks, you know, with Core and Auron with the melee damage. And then Sephiroth is there just because he does have very good damage. He's heavy sword, which was required. But you'll notice that I never put Sephiroth BT on, because putting his BT on would actually like make this fight less effective for me, because I want the enemies to have turns. With Auron's BT effect up, we would be breaking them constantly, and they would not get turns. So I am playing Sephiroth a little gimped here. Had I thought about it, like I probably would have been better off doing somebody like Pain, because then Pain I could either have her like buffing or debuffing, and then just let Core and Auron go crazy and just have her more in that like support debuffer role. I think would have made more sense. Now this fight works just fine. What we noticed with these mission quest fights is they can have a lot of mechanics, but they're very squishy, right? Like I think on the second stage, which I'm gonna have go out after this one, I felt like I was almost killing them before I even got into FR. Like they were so squishy. Because you can see here, we just got into FR and they're already at like 82%, 87%. Like, yeah, they're going down pretty quick. So the thing Sephiroth is nice for is as I build this gauge up, he can just pop off some big on-turn damage. And that's really what we're going to do with Sephiroth here and not use his BT. Now, I think near the end of the fight, I might have put it on just because I'm like, all right, the fight's over. Let's just take him down. But yeah, you know, I want Auron getting hit. I want those 20% bumps. I want these off-turn melee bumps, you know, for 15, 5%, whatever. Yeah, I want all that. So here comes Core, and yeah, he's getting his little 5% ticks. We have to make sure we get Oath of Absolute Defense on everybody. But yeah, these characters like Core, Kelger, Vice, like they're just very good characters. These off turn, like off turn is such a good mechanic in this game. Which, speaking of Vice, he's a character I haven't used much. Like I used him, you know, right when his event came out, and I did use him on like the Blue Weekly quest. But now I've already moved on to White Crystal because I went crazy and bought some sparkles. But I will still need to use blue because I haven't done any of the passives right now. I kind of changed my mind. I decided to start going stats on all the crystal rooms because I'm feeling like those crystal room like abilities, they're not like that game changing. I know the first one is just an attack, and I like never use it. So I'm like, I mean, it is good to get the actual passives. Like I would say a good strat is just like get all the stats and then maybe buy the 3 passives that you're going to use the most, and then just move on to the next color. Like. That might be the best strat right now. So yeah, I just want to get all my character stats up, so I'm kind of going crazy on that. So my blue characters now are like really beefy, big HP, and I went white because I've been really liking Lena. I got Anachrome maxed out. Just seems like a nice color combo. Alright. So Sephiroth dropping on the EX for some pretty good damage. We're approaching 400%. We're still on turn 9 of Force. Oh yeah, that was the bad part. Yeah. So we got slowed down a little bit because they are blinding us. Now, the reason why Sephiroth isn't getting blinded is because he's a little bit overbuffed. He only has 1 slot, and it put the poison on, so there's no room for them to put the blind on. So I did not realize these guys were going to be blinding, but I'm like, missing doesn't really matter. The enemy on like they're already at 60%, right? We still have 9 turns of Force. So even us only getting like half of our hits in, we're just fine. We're 100% fine. We're blowing this fight up. And the nice thing is, now I kind of feel nice having Sephiroth because he's going to be able to do big damage and like he's not blinded. So I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like I'm actually considering like maybe we just go Sephiroth crazy here and just finish him off. Because at least he's not missing. And the enemies are now really tanky where we're like only hitting 1s. So that's also not good. But I know Sephiroth's going to be able to just damage over. So here I'm debating. So what would have been smart is had I had like Raijin or Rydia on first, that would have been really smart. Well, not Rydia, because that would have been bad for Auron, but having Raijin on I think would have been smart had I known they were going to do the debuffs. But yeah, I went into this like super blind just because they haven't been like that crazy hard. So yeah, you can see the off turns like super weak, like we're not getting Brave gains. So at this point, I'm starting to feel like, yeah, we might need to just like have Sephiroth do some crazy Brave gaining, right, and attack through. We got some good damage there from Auron because he Brave gained through it, so that was really nice. And once again, since these enemies are so not tanky, it's like been pretty nice. So I see I've got Soar there, but I'm like, he could be missing, so I'm like, let's just Echo, and even if he misses, we'll still get some gains on it. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let's just do it. And we did get the hit, which is good. But not a lot of damage. You see when we're hitting 1s, other than that initial hit, like we're losing a lot of damage, but we're getting the percentage. So now it's like Sephiroth and like a bunch of their turns. So I'm almost thinking maybe Sephiroth burst phase here. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. It's been a while. Oh, so we decided to go BT effect, which this is fine too. Because what I figured here is since like we're only hitting for 1s, well, we'll just set their Brave to 1 and now we can start breaking them. So I'm figuring at least if we break them, like it might... what I was thinking is sometimes when enemies do where you only hit 1s, if you break them, it kind of like breaks their funk. So I'm like, sure, let's just put this on. It's going to kind of ensure they're going to have like a really low Brave all the time. And then Core's going to go crazy and like off-turn break, right? And here, I think the reason I didn't go burst phase, it was just too tempting not to let them take these 4 turns, right? So I'm like, yes, let's let them take the 4 turns. Let their Brave just keep going down, back to 1, resetting. Core double miss. So I feel like the blind is like a more than 50% blind because I feel like we're missing more than we're hitting. And the problem is every time I burn through the blind, they just reapply it. So yeah, I was getting kind of frustrated here. Definitely like not an efficient run. But look, we've been still putting up the gauge this whole time. We're at 700% with 8 turns. So it's like, yeah, at some point I said, okay, sure, let's just FR. Might as well. And I'm thinking on Sephiroth's next turn I end up going into burst phase. I'm pretty sure I do his burst phase, but I could be wrong. Once again, when it's been like a week since I recorded the video. Oh yeah. So no, I'm pretty sure I don't do burst phase because look, they're already at 26%. It would be overkill. So I'm thinking we just like do really big attacks with Sephiroth. Yeah, and actually I don't think they can be broken because we were brave hitting and they're staying at 1. So yeah, here's the bad breath. They're going to keep reapplying blind. We got lucky there at Sephiroth didn't get the blind. He just got a speed down and a poison, which is fine. And then Auron taking nothing. Maybe he'll actually get some hits here. We'll see. All right, he hit him. 3.7 mil on the counter. But yeah, you can see the enemies just have like no HP. So normally, like, had I gotten blinded, if this were a normal fight, I probably would have just reset and then planned for the poison and made sure the blind and made sure I didn't get that. But since I knew they were so weak, I'm like, sure, we'll just like force our way through this fight and like not even let it be an issue. Because once again, their HP was so low. So yeah, we're just going to keep hopping through here. And then Core, yeah, he's got 3 turns of blind. So I'm like, let's make sure to refresh the Oath. The nice thing is, even though he misses, he still puts Oath on, which is good. And then we were able to put in some damage. Now here, Sephiroth should be able to finish off. Oh, so I did go Burst Phase. Okay. So I'm like, all right, let's just make sure this is done. So yeah, I went Burst Phase. I knew I was going to win for sure, yeah. Like, they were dead on that attack, so I probably should have just hit LD and we would have been good. But yeah, so now we're going to go entire Burst Phase. So rather than have you guys watch through that, we could maybe just skip through that, right? So we'll go here. We'll just kind of skim through that Burst Phase because, you know, I'm just doing a bunch of damage. And then there you go. Finish it off here. 114 mil, no problem. So anyways, guys, there you go. That is my Mission Quest 2 Stage 1 clear. Let me know how you handled this fight. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.